Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Ampharos and Mega Ampharos. So the stats are actually pretty nice to look at. That the only thing you have to worry about is not being faster than your opponent, and that can be worked around in many ways as we've seen before. Or since you're just bulky enough, you just take the hit and then you deal a harder hit back. So 115 special attack is going to pair fairly nicely with a 90 hit points, which is also going to scale as you get a Mega Evolution, and then 85 defense and 90 special defense. So really all those stats are right where you want them to be. You have good durability, you have a good offensive chance to hit. I mean, it all plays out really nice. Now I didn't do the stats on Mega Ampharos, but just imagine more special attack, defense, and special defense. Less speed too. That actually works out pretty well. So it is really nice to look at. And then we also have Ampharos' typing. Base Ampharos is going to be electric, and Mega Ampharos is going to be dragon and electric. So pretty much you get a dragon stab and dragon pulse on Ampharos, and then you gain a weakness to ice, fairy, and dragon. So the trade-off makes you a little bit more susceptible defensively, but at the same time you are gaining offenses, you are getting a little bit more coverage, and Ampharos becomes a fabulous dragon type. I mean, you really can't complain at all about that one. So hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we can just kind of see that Mega Ampharos, it just wants to hit really hard and try to do the most damage that it can. So after looking at a couple of sets, I start to realize that Ampharos does have one big problem, and that's going to be coverage. That really, you have Dragon Pulse and Thunderbolt, and that's it. That you can do Focus Sash, but I am really against Focus Miss, because what it does is it has a 70% accuracy, has a huge amount of power, and does add to your coverage really well. But I mean, the chance to miss could cost you the game. Like, you'd rather hit 2 Thunderbolts or 2 Dragon Pulses than miss a Focus Blast and try to land one. It doesn't really work out too well, but it is an option that I did want to bring up. Other things you can do are carry Charge Beam. I think Charge Beam is really good to a degree. You need to be able to survive. Like, if Ampharos becomes a 3-hit KO Pokemon in a scenario, then Charge Beam works out really well. Because the main thing about Ampharos having a 165 special attack, you kind of see this with pretty much any Pokemon that has a special around 150 to 170ish, or any kind of offense, like an attack or special attack around 150, 170ish, is that their neutral KOs just don't exist. That they're so close. I mean, if you use Thunderbolt or Dragon Pulse on anything, it's a stab, strong neutral hit with a 165 base special attack, but then it does like 80% of most Pokemon's health. And it's just so frustrating close to being enough to KO, which is why I like the idea of Charge Beam. That after the Charge Beam, now your neutral hits are starting to KO. Now you're getting that setup that you need. But the thing is, Ampharos is slow. That if it uses Charge Beam, goes into Thunderbolt, sure, that's a KO, but the next Pokemon's going to be able to clean you up because you're at so low hit points. So now this is why you're looking for that potential 3-hit KO kind of scenario, because agility. You use agility, now you're faster than your opponent. Use Charge Beam, 70% chance to get the boost. If you do get that boost, well, now you can pretty much sweep off a Dragon Pulse and Thunderbolt, and that works out really well. You can also carry a Hidden Power if you don't want to play that risky game with, why am I using Charge Beam? But it does make it to where it puts you in a lot of neutral hit KO scenarios. Now, after you get that survival, you'll be good to go. And then, for Hidden Powers, you don't really need Ice as much. It looks like that Hidden Power Grass could work out if you want to take out like Ampharos, or not Ampharos, you want to take out Swampert and Pokemon like that. Or you could always just go with Hidden Power Fire. Hidden Power Fire is going to be pretty good for cleaning up a certain amount of Pokemon as well. And then you can just kind of look at the way that stats break down. To get the agility on your side, though, you need that Timid Nature. Timid Nature, you're going to have to invest 228 points into your speed, I believe. Yeah, that's going to be like the lowest possible amount. I just want to make sure, because if you went into, like, say, 232, you're still at 103, so you're just kind of wasting points right there. So 228 is where you're going to want to be at, and that's going to make you outspeed 135 base speed Pokemon, and then you still have a high amount of the special attack, that if you are using Charge Beam, you don't need the Modest Nature, because even with the Modest Nature, you're still not finding a lot of neutral hit KOs, so it is good to just get that little extra boost, get it to where you need to go. And this is going to be fairly standard at Ampharos. You are durable, you are tanky, and then you can just kind of play it off from there. Now, Mega Ampharos does also have a lot of other things that it can use. Cotton Guard makes it very strong, and with this, I was thinking more for doubles, that you can just kind of protect, set up a Cotton Guard, and hide around. Now, since Ampharos does have such a low speed, we can either look at agility, or we could look at Trick Room. In Trick Room, first turn you protect, keep Ampharos safe, you set up the Trick Room with a Pokemon like Romatize. That Pokemon sets up Trick Room really reliably, like a really reliable Trick Room setter. There's many out there. So, I mean, you get your Trick Room off, and then now you can use Cotton Guard. Now you're not going to be taking too much damage, and you're throwing out huge Thunderbolts, Dragon Pulses. Now, with a little bit of chip damage from Dazzling Gleam, now this is a modest KO, well, not modest, quiet. This is a special attack, nature KO on a pretty decent scale, while you also still have Protect Out plays. You still have defensives from a Cotton Guard. It can work out really well. and that's kind of what you're going to want to run on Trick Room. Now, here's where the Ampharos sets start getting a little crazy, because Ampharos does have some really cool tools that, does have those good defenses. It does have a lot of things on its side that make it want to be really strong, but then at the same time, it just doesn't have the moveset, because a lot of electric-type Pokemon, I feel like they are gated by just having an electric-type move and maybe one coverage move like Signal Beam or something. If Ampharos didn't have Dragon Pulse, it wouldn't get any usage, because now it's not getting the stab, it's not getting all these things that it needs. So we can look at Chesto Resto, and on Ampharos it could be strong because Ampharos gets access to Cotton Guard. Cotton Guard is one of the best defensive moves in the game, raises your defense by 3. First time you use it, you have 2.5 times your defense. Physical attacks should stop hurting you. You can get +6 instantly while your opponent's still trying to set up Swords Dance or something, so you do gain an edge on your opponent, and they can never outpace you on a Cotton Guard, and it can be a very scary thing to do. So Ampharos also gets static. If they make physical contact, which is being resisted by your Cotton Guard, they also have a chance of getting paralyzed. So I mean, the comboing potential is really just huge right there. And then with Chesto Resto, you can make something work. That was thinking Charge Beam. You set up your Cotton Guard, you go into rest, Chesto Berry, and as long as they have physical Pokemon, you're not going to be in too bad of a situation that, you save Ampharos for that late game, you try to take out as many special attacking Pokemon as possible, set up Cotton Guard if they only have like 2 or 3 physical Pokemon. Doesn't matter what those physical Pokemon are, you're going to be pretty set. Use Charge Beam, get 1 or 2 of those boosts, now your Dragon Pulse hits hard, now your Charge Beam hits hard. I mean, Charge Beam still gets Stab, and it's a good, just offensive option. Dragon Pulse, since you're not Mega, it's mostly there just for coverage, because it's really all that you have on coverage. Or if you can, you can maybe try to squeeze in some kind of hidden power that you get, if it does sound like it does provide good coverage. Ice Beam, or Hidden Power Ice would work in this situation. So I mean, you're doing low damage, but at the same time, once your Charge Beam gets at +4, you're still at least 3-hit KOing your opponent, and they don't have the opportunity to 3-hit KO you if they are physical. As for the EVs, Calm Nature, max out your special defense. Your defense is going to go through the roof, high hit points, you're good to go. And then you can kind of do the same things with Mega Ampharos, but then again, you're getting gated by your typing. That Rest, Sleep Talk, that's really good. Cotton Guard, that's amazing. Now you have more special defense than regular Ampharos, much more defense, and you are getting Stab on Thunderbolt, Charge Beam, anything like that. But here's the problem. Now that's 4th move slot. You have 5 move slot syndrome, because Dragon Pulse, oh, that gets walled out by Fairy-type Pokemon. Thunderbolt, that gets walled out by Ground-type Pokemon. You can still hit hard, you can still set up monstrously, but you have the chance of getting walled out, so it does make the set really risky, and it does work out in double battles. Now if you have a Pokemon maybe throwing out some kind of Heal Pulse, if you have a Pokemon that can use Aromatherapy, Heal Bell, or something like that, then this can actually work. Then I could see this as actually a really interesting idea, because what you're doing is if you're Rest, Sleep Talking, now you can actually set up a Cotton Guard, get some more tanks behind you, and if they have a Ground-type Pokemon, now you have another Pokemon. So yeah, as long as you're covering the coverage, your ally is just going to be going really well, and then you become an unstoppable tank. Now the problem is, if it's a one-on-one situation at the end of the game and they happen to have a Fairy-type Pokemon when you have Dragon Pulse or something like that, it does make it pretty hard. Also, I do like the idea of, Toxic or something, that if they don't have a Steel or a Poison-type Pokemon, they eventually get worn down. And again, it's high risk, high reward, but just unkillable. Like, you're just unkillable if it goes off. And then, Ampharos also has some really cool combo potential with Magnetic Flux that raises defense and special defense of allies with plus or minus by 1. Hey, look at that. I got plus. The active ability with plus or minus. So, I mean, it works on yourself, and in doubles, it works on other Pokemon. Pokemon like Dedenne also have plus. Pokemon like Klinklang have minus and Magnetic Flux. First turn, you double Magnetic Flux. Now you're boosting both of their special defenses and defenses by 1, so now you're doubling Ampharos and Klinklang's defenses on that first turn pretty quickly, and you're also giving special attack to Ampharos, who can then Mega and start doing some crazy things. So, I mean, yeah, you just save that ability to get that one set up on the first turn, and now you're going to be able to throw out some huge special attacks, because, I mean, you don't need to boost your defenses too much if they're getting doubled, and then you get the survival from there, and then after that, Dragon Pulse, Thunderbolt, Protect, and it looks like you round out pretty good. After that, if we look at Klinklang a bit, we can talk about Did I not spell that? Oh, Klinklang. There's no G at the first one. Alright. So if you throw on a Citrus Berry, shift gear into Magnetic Flux, well, now you have huge defenses. You shift gear, you're doubling your speed, you're gaining just a little bit of attack. So, I mean, you can run hit points, you can run, like, defensive stuff. This is just an example. I haven't really thought about the numbers really too well. You can be able to survive a lot of hits on that, and now all of a sudden, you have some good, I would imagine, coverage. So I'd just be like, Rock Slide. Oh, it doesn't get Rock Slide. Alright. Well, the coverage on Kling Klang looks like it might be a problem, because I think you don't even get Iron Head, you just have Gear Grind. Gear Grind does go into some crazy realm of damage, and then, you know, some other last kind of move that would work in your favor. But other than that, you know, I think that this is a very strong combo potential that people might not expect, and it could just work out. You know, now you have an Ampharos that's not taking damage and dealing more damage. You have a Kling Klang that's going fast and not taking damage. I mean, you are going to have those points where you are taking 2 turns of setting up, but at that point, you're going to be so tanky that you might just have slivers of health left, and now you're ready to sweep, even with those. So you're kind of living life on the edge, but I see there's a lot of potential to just kind of shut down your opponent really quick once it's gone. So if you guys enjoyed this video, that is how you use Ampharos and Mega Ampharos in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I hope you all have a nice day.